Oh, well, everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
You're going to make that happen?
Huh?
You're going to make that happen?
Oh, definitely. That's the fight that I want. That's the fight everybody else want. Like I said, I'm going to get these straps and I'm going to go over there and take his shit too.
All right. Errol, congratulations. Terrific fight this evening.
Thank you, man. Down. Strap season. Y'all know what time it is, baby. Terrence, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt.
All right.
I'm not catching fades anymore. Gotta keep my hands clean when they come for the board. Keep it smooth like a dawn, making moves in the dark. Cause I learned how to swim in the pool full of sharks. Now they coaches, cause they can't read all his motions. How the kid never switch codes, but he code switch focus. Staring down your team with a frozen, ice cold look that could end the summer solstice. Cause I'm more like the top dog. Keep on running game and the gang will accost y'all. I be calling plays from a plane while I'm off court. But we ain't the same, you a lame, I'm a mob star. Actually, I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athlete. Laughing when the cop cars try to catch me. Cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pour strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode. I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, God vibes. I'm the kingpin. They know I'm a dog and a beast, man. Yeah, I keep the peace with a peace, man. I ain't got no time for appeasement. Why would I respond to a pawn? I'm the... Hold up.
If I let my dogs off the leash, then you might want to get out of dogs while they eat me. Honestly, think it's not the blood and the beat, and they don't need anything behind that they eat.
I can see you soft, ever thought about retreating. If you never have, then they'll give you a reason. Better watch your tone, lose your bass when you speaking. Underneath the mask is the wrath of a... When you learn how to smile in their face, then go cutthroat. Then they wanna call you a con when the blood cold. I remember starving while y'all had a truckload. Now I'm with the mob with the call and the gusto. I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athlete. Laughing when the cop cars try to catch me. Cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pour strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode. I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, God vibes. I'm the kingpin.
What's up? What's going on? Like I said, you already know what it is, Full Counter Boxing. What's happening, Gabe, in the building? What's happening, my brother? Yes, sir. Boxing, we're trying to heat up. You know what I'm saying? We just watched, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know it was coming on this early. I stopped early today and it was going on, and I seen Champside. He was rocking the fight. And I came in late. I forgot about the UK. The UK, they operating at an earlier time than we are in America, you know what I'm saying? And then had to find out shit was on Netflix. I got Netflix, but it was going, so I got to watch the fight, what I'm saying, over. It was already over by the time I tuned into it. But I said, well, let me come on anyway, we'll just talk about it. And but it wasn't one of them fights that you just had to see. But it was it was kind of, good to see where Conor Benn really is, his skills, and what I'm saying, how he's looking at this weight, 150. You know what I'm saying? And he looked like Conor Benn, you know what I'm saying? He looked like, coming in there lunging and shit with shots. And we knew that Regis, you know what I'm saying, heart of a lion, you know what I'm saying? He's on his last legs, his legs was weak. The British commentators was all on Conor Benn's, you know what I'm saying, all on his nut sacks. And it was just horrible commentary throughout the whole entire thing. They're really trying to push these British fighters to the forefront. And it's sickening to watch, you know what I'm saying? Because everything, Conor Benn did, you know what I'm saying, it was It was just out of sight. And then you had Ward there, saying telling it like it really was, right? So, Conor Ben, he went out there, like I said, it was gonna be like a one-sided type of fight because we already know that Regis is, on his last legs. We know that Regis, saying he's I don't know why Regis keeps saying he the same size is Conor Ben, and he's not. Maybe that's something he's just mentally trying to psych himself out. You know what I'm saying? Because later on, I got some footage. You know what I'm saying, when he was talking to Fight Hype, he was saying like he really didn't want to fight this fight, right? And that was kind of weird. Saying hearing him say that, and I was like, damn. Saying Regis, he really is. Uh, Retiring, after this fight. And the way he looked in there, he looked like, he just wasn't ready. He couldn't push off his feet. He did hit kind of Ben with a couple of good solid shots because it really Ben ran into it because he always, jumping in on shots and stuff. And he ran right into one of Regis' straight lefts and stuff. And he turned that shit over too. And he buckled Conor Ben. Conor Ben was very cautious. Even though he got in most of the shots, he really got off on Regis. But Regis, man, heart of a lion, a true warrior, bro. He went in there and he went on the inside. He didn't try to run. He didn't try to hide. He went in there and he pressed all he could. But he was just older, slower. Um, you know, he didn't have the reaction time. He really, his punches were slow. I'm talking, it was bad. But for Conor Ben to have all these advantages, being the bigger man, coming down, to beat up a smaller man, and the smaller man stood his ground. And I thought that was, um, that was just awesome for Regis because he didn't have the pressure on him to perform like Conor Ben did, and Regis knew that. He knew that Conor Ben had to put on a great performance, and he couldn't even knock Regis down, bro. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, bro? He said hey, chat room. Yeah, he couldn't even knock Regis down, and I thought that was interesting. If you want to be a contender, what I'm saying, at the wherever he want to campaign at, especially if it's at 147, and he's thinking about getting a belt, from one of the champions at 147. He might as well forget 154. I'm gonna tell you that right now. By this performance, he couldn't knock down Regis. He couldn't, I mean, yeah, he dominated him boxing, but that he had all the advantages, every last one of them. Regis looked like a sitting duck in there, right? He looked like a fighter that's on his way out. And he couldn't even knock him down. He couldn't, all he did was box him, and I think he got cut in a headbutt. Um, his eye was bleeding, and that kind of made him a little bit skittish and desperate. So he kept, he really was trying to get Regis out of there. He was really trying his best to get Regis out of there, and he just couldn't do it. And that just shows you, where Conor Ben is. He don't have anything else besides his power, besides the quickness that he used, but he don't have like the time and the slickness, to hit you with that punch that you don't see, right? And that's what I was looking for, those kind of little wrinkles in Conor's Ben game, but he just straight up and down, power, speed, he got a little bit of movement, but I don't think it's going to be significant if he fights like a Devin Haney, or if he fights Shakur Stevenson, he's going to end up swiping at air, and it's not going to be a good fight for him if he fights somebody like that. What you say, Cottages says this might be a great fight by Regis versus Khan, bro. This might be. Oh, they already fought, bro. They already fought. They already fought. You know, Conor Ben, he beat him, unanimously. You know what I'm saying? He beat him. Wasn't a split decision. It was a unanimous beatdown. Like I said, it was going to be a one-sided beatdown. But like I said, the man had all the advantages. Conor Ben, he was, he had harder punches. You know what I'm saying? He came in there. He just you could just see the difference in youth, the difference in energy. You know what I'm saying? Regis just wasn't. He didn't have it, bro. He didn't have it, and but he was able to last the entire fight, and I think that was a victory for him. You know what I'm saying? To not get knocked out. Uh, because I don't think he's in contention for fighting, becoming a champion again. And he said it himself that he really didn't want this fight. There was rumors out there that your boy was injured, man. It was, they say he was injured. So I think he just did it for the money and to sell his name. What's going on, Mike? I think he just did it to sell his name, you know what I'm saying? Because, at a good little price to put some money in his pocket. Regis, he's kind of been done for a while. I think his last great hurrah was when he fought Dev, and he looked bad. He looked bad in that fight. Mm, mm. He even got dropped by Dev, so that was a surprise to everybody. Dev been dropping people lately. You know what I'm saying? He dropped Brian Norman. You know what I'm saying? He dropped Regis. You know what I'm saying? So it looked like as he move up in weight, you know what I'm saying? Look like it's helping him out some, helping his power. He's not as drained. And he's getting used to fighting at that weight. He's starting to settle in at that weight. So it looked like we're looking at a more dangerous Devin Haney. Yeah, he already fought him. Yeah, like I said, I came in, I had stopped for the day and shit, they were already fighting. Yeah, they were already going at it. So I was trying to come on live, but it was already at the end of the fight. So I had to go on Netflix to watch the fight myself. And from what I saw, it was really depressing, to see Regis, saying get beat like that. But he's at that point in his career where it's time to hang him up. And I can't tell him to hang it up. I mean, he's got to make that final decision. But from what I saw, his legs just ain't there. And maybe he just took the fight too soon after his last fight, which was Joseph Diaz, right? Um, just looking at it, I said, man, he was a sitting duck in there, man. It's like, Conor Benn had all the time in the world to get off. All he had to do was stay away, really, if he didn't want to engage and just scrape him out from the outside. He could have beat him from the outside, but Conor Benn started beating Regis Prograis to the body, man. I was like, damn, some of them shots that he took was hellacious, you know. Uh, yeah, I think Ben is overrated too. You can see if he gets in there with a lot more defensive skill and somebody who's younger, like any of the top champions, what I'm saying, that box. Zayas, somebody like Xander Zayas would have destroyed Conor Benn. If he fought anybody, he would have fought any of them guys at 154, he would have got destroyed, bro. So, doing this at a catch weight, he's lucky. He is lucky. He got by with that, with getting this fight with Regis, because it made, he really think this fight made him look good, but really it shows how limited that Conor Benn is. It shows how limited his skills are, right? Because he should have been able to get Regis up out of there. He should have been able to get Regis up out of there, point blank, period. Especially, with the rumor that he's injured and everything. So, they're already talking about Devin and Conor Benn fight. They're already talking about it. Yeah, they're already looking at that, and Devin already, gave his Dev gave his reaction. Let me pull that up, man. Dev gave, I think he tweeted, the reaction and stuff. Let's see. Devin gave his reaction. Let's see, where is this? Let's see. Dev. Hold on, bear with me for a second. Let's see, I just had it. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. So there's Dev tweet, you know what I'm saying? Telling Conor Benn to stay away. But we already know that Dev want that fight, you know. So that's an easy fight for Dev because Conor Benn, what I'm saying, his skills is lacking, as far as his defense and all that stuff. His foot movement is not that fast. He wouldn't be able to keep up with a young Dev or a young Shakur. He couldn't. I don't think he could even beat Keyshawn. Tell you the truth, what I'm saying. If Keyshawn can't, did a 147, I don't even think he could beat a Keyshawn, bro. Because their defense is way better than a Regis. Regis just kind of shot. You know what I'm saying? So Dev already looking at this shit. Now, of course, he's gonna have Dev eyes on it. But here's Regis talking about retirement and all this and what he thought of the fight. So this is for educational purposes. Hold on, hold on, let me just go back a little. So So you heard what he said, what I'm saying? It's like I would have never thought, man, that I would have never thought that he was scared, man. The way he went out there, like he said, he pushed through it. Um, he showed great courage, what I'm saying? He was clearly outgunned. And Regis just wanted to prove, man, that he can hang in there, man. And he always been um a really good boxer. I think he's better than Conor Benn. I think if this was the Regis from 5 or 6 years ago, he would have beat Conor Benn. You know what I'm saying? If this was Regis 5 or 6 years ago, I think he would have beat him. You know what I'm saying? Because Regis at one point in the fight was actually standing in there, giving him good body work. And he was actually slipping a lot of the punches. You know what I'm saying? But he ate too many. He started eating a lot of jabs. He started slowing down. Conor Benn started going to his body. And to hear Regis say, that he almost pulled out the fight is diabolical. It's kind of crazy because he did perform, what I'm saying, the best he could as an injured man, right? Um, but as we know, Conor Benn isn't a top dude. You know what I'm saying? He's not like going to become a champion one day. He's not going to become a champion because if that was a Ryan Garcia, if that was a Devin Haney, that shit would have went a whole lot different. Would have went a whole lot different. I think he kind of like picked on the guy that's kind of broke down, And that's what kind of I hate about these some of these English fighters, you know what I'm saying, these British fighters, is that they look for the, you know what I'm saying, the utmost advantage, you know what I'm saying, in a fight, you know what I'm saying. And it was supposedly that Conor Benn was getting 15 million for this fight. I don't think so. But if that's what they say that he got for the fight, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating, but come on, man. You need to step up the competition if you want to be taken seriously. I would love to see him fight Devin Haney. I would love to see him fight um, Ryan Garcia. I would love to see him fight somebody of significance, right? Even Rolly Romero. I think he don't really want to touch Rolly Romero. I think Rolly Romero got that power, and I think Rolly Romero got the power to get his ass up out of there because he did run into, you know, a straight right by Regis Prograis at one point in the fight, and it buckled him because he ran, because the way he fights, he runs right into his shots, right? He stepped into his shots, and he ran right into that shot, and it was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? If that was like a Rolly shot, man, he probably would have been floored, um, you know. So the fight wasn't, like I said, you know, so exciting because it was a one-sided beatdown, and man, we just got to see, you know what I'm saying. Regis said he's going to retire. I didn't hear Conor being called out, nobody, but I haven't watched the post yet. I don't know, you know, who he wants next. But hopefully he'll fight one of the Devin Haney, because Devin Haney is open, you know, since the Rolly Romero negotiations fell, you know what I'm saying? They could pick it up later. I don't know what the problem was. Probably, you know, the contract split or the money split. You know what I'm saying? They probably couldn't agree on it. And Bill said it's his fault because he goes through all that for Dev, right? But if we can get those two in the ring, it shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because Conor Benn is not a star. You know what I'm saying? And they should be able to pick that fight up pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? And come to some kind of agreement, and that would keep Dev active, right? That would keep him active in the game, and especially before, you know, he gets into another top fight. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all waiting on Dev to fight that Ryan Garcia fight. That's what we want to see. Um, he says, oh, he called out Ryan Garcia. He called out Ryan by knockout. Shit, Ryan would eat his ass up, bro. You know, and I'm not, you know how I feel about Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? But I think Ryan Garcia, he probably couldn't even get close to Ryan Garcia. um, Ryan Garcia hands so fast, and then he comes in with his head. He comes in with his head down, and Ryan probably get his ass up out of there. Tell you the truth, and I never say that about Ryan Garcia. But Conor Ben is one of them dudes, you know what I'm saying? He steps when he punch. So you know when he's coming. Now he does a little feint move, but I think Ryan is young enough. He got the reflexes to catch your ass, you know what I'm saying, with that left hook, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he'll miss that first one, but that left hook is gonna knock Conor Ben ass out. And it'll make him tentative too. It'll take his confidence away because he's not the more athletic fighter in the ring when he fight one of those guys. And Dev, you know what I'm saying, I think also is a little bit his feet too fast for him. But hey, if you want to get into it, if you want to get into another fight, he didn't take a lot of damage in this fight. Um, you know what I'm saying? Where he got his eye cut, which was kind of bad, but you know, he can heal from that. Um, you know, but if you want to get Ryan, shit, I don't think he's into got anything scheduled right now. So, you know, either him or Dev, that would be a good fight for him to get into. But I doubt if they'll fight at a catch weight of at 150. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Dev would do that. Ryan, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Ryan be interested in fighting at 150. Um, you know what I'm saying? But they probably walk around, you know what I'm saying, beyond that weight. But that'd be good to see if he was willing to you know, to go up there, you know what I'm saying, fight at a catch weight, you know what I'm saying. I don't know. That I mean, Ryan Belt wouldn't be on the line if they fought at a catch weight. So I could see him taking that fight, you know what I'm saying. He'd still be a damn champion, right? Especially same with Dev, you know what I'm saying, if you fight at a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's a fight that could be made, you know. I'm looking at Conor Ben, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know people don't take him seriously, but I think he's trying to like really get in, and you know, it was a okay win for him, but you know, he didn't put on a show. I don't think his performance was you know, jaw dropping. And I think he struggled, saying enough to let you know that he's not going to come in there dominate none of the top champions. This is not going to happen, right? So, like I said, he underimpressed everybody, except for the British announcers. The commentary was kind of sick and diabolical. They was really trying to promote Conor Benn, and everything he did was amazing. It was fantastic, and I was just like, damn. I was like, that shit is, it was sickening to listen to. Um, you know, and then I think they had Tyson Fury. What I'm saying, I didn't want to watch that shit. What I'm saying, I didn't want to. I mean, he came out there looking like a fat pillow. And I still to this day don't understand how this fat dude be bouncing around the ring like that. But I didn't watch that one. What I'm saying, because I was, concentrating on coming on and stuff like that. But as far as this fight goes, though, I don't know what's next for. I don't know what's next for Conor Benn. What I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure if somebody want to get some work in, if they'll want to get some rounds in, I think that'll be a good fight for him. Just to stay active, and to have a competitive opponent come in who really is hungry and trying to, get that status. And I think that'll keep Devin on his toes from getting inactive. And I think that'll be a good fight for him. Same with Ryan. What I'm saying? They don't want to become complacent champions. They don't want to become complacent champions. So to stay active, I would fight. I would love to see that, saying Conor Benn get into it with some of those guys and stuff. Ryan would definitely bring his stock up if he beat Ryan Garcia. That would definitely bring Conor Benn. Stop people probably start taking him seriously. If he could beat Devin Haney, definitely. What I'm saying? A lot of people would be happy if he beats Devin Haney. So that's the upside to Conor Benn getting his win and put him in contention to for these guys to get on these guys. And then both of these guys need a good distraction, what I'm saying? Because a fight between Ryan right now and a fight between Devin, what I'm saying, the negotiations, saying, because you got two guys with belts, right? So they're going to be arguing about who's the A side. Ryan's going to be arguing that he's the A side because he beat Dev, right? What I'm saying, and then Dev going to be saying you cheated, and what I'm saying. So he's got more accolades and all this stuff. So they're going to be arguing over who get the biggest piece of the slice of the pie. If I was Devin, um, I would definitely get Ryan into Nevada early. Have them watch him. What I'm saying, have him tested, and I would take the lesser part of the deal just because he was so destroyed by Ryan, right? Despite of the allegations of well, not allegations, despite of the Austrian and stuff, what I'm saying. Long as he enrolled in Vada, what I'm saying, I would take the lesser part of the deal just to get the match, because right now Ryan is up one on him, in the minds of people that dislike Devin Haney, right? So he's up one. What I'm saying? And for me, I think Dev really needs that get back and show people that, what I'm saying, that hell, he can go in there and he can beat Ryan, he can get it done. What I'm saying? I don't understand. If that was me, that would have been like the first fight that I wanted back, what I'm saying. But Dev, he had to heal, he had to, what I'm saying, get the rust off, because that fight with Jose Ramirez looked horrible. It looked horrible, and it made people speculate about many, many things about Devin in that fight. But then he came back and fought Brian Norman. And then people saw that, what I'm saying, that was just a fluke. He was just getting his timing back, getting, the rust off and everything like that. So it was on that level, what I'm saying. So you gotta, can't just look at one fight and think that's the way these guys are gonna be, because everybody thought that Dev mentally was still recuperating from that Ryan Garcia beating, right? So he's got a lot to think about when he negotiates with Ryan Garcia. What the buildup is going to be like, and that shit is going to be ratchet long as he fighting Ryan Garcia, because he's going to be saying, how I beat your ass, and he's going to be really, what I'm saying, taunting Devin. But I think Devin will be focused when that fight comes about. Hopefully, we can get that fight this year. Um, Hopefully we can get that fight this year. I'm all for it. I'm down for it. Um, If he has to get a tune up in, I think maybe both of them need to get another fight in, just to, sharpen up the skills, and get get that championship juices going, and they should go ahead and unify. Go ahead and make that shit happen, you know. Make that they should go ahead and unify. Um, I think that'll be the biggest fight of the year besides Boots and Xander Zayas, because of the storyline, because of the first fight. I think that'll be bigger than Jaron Boots and Xander Zayas, right? Um, I kept seeing this. I don't know if anybody saw this, but there was I don't know if it was AI, but they were saying that Crawford was secretly training um, Xander Zayas, stuff, and he was picking Xander Zayas, to beat Jaron Boots Ennis, which wouldn't surprise me because everybody was comparing Jaron Boots Ennis to Bud Crawford when they wanted them to fight, right? And Bud Crawford said that he offered Jaron Boots Ennis to fight. So, he confronted him about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure, what's the truth is, you know what I'm saying? Because Boots said, he didn't get an offer and all this kind of stuff from Crawford. So Crawford might be doing the Floyd Mayweather, going behind the scenes and trying to come up with a game plan and strategy against Jaron Boots Ennis because he don't want to see him rise up as the superstar at 154. I could see some shit like that happening. Because right now, Bud Crawford got the entire, he's such a star in boxing. He can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And if I was Xander Zayas, and I'm facing somebody like Jerome Business, I would take his advice. I would take Bud Crawford advice. So I would even love for him to come in and train me because what Xander got right now is very solid. I mean, he can box, he can move. I'm saying he got heart. I'm saying he's got experience, but to reach that next level, I think somebody like Crawford can like really help him with the he got confidence, but Crawford can give you those skills, that those tactics to work on, those little things that veterans know, when to tie up, how to tie up, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff, and how to frustrate him, range, working with his range and his boxing and stuff. I think he can make Xander a lot tighter if the rumors are true. Now, I don't know. I just saw that it could have been AI, you know what I'm saying, because they always coming up with these bogus ass stories, right? Um, I mean, but that would be kind of cold. That would be kind of cold for Crawford to come in and interfere like that. You know what I'm saying? I would rather Crawford, come back in and fight Boots, which we know he's not going to do. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that Crawford is actually doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's a lot of fake news on YouTube right now. It's a lot of fake news, but that would be cold blooded for him to come in because he always seemed to back anybody against. It's just me. Maybe it's just my bias against Bud Crawford, but he always seemed to back the non-black fighter, right? Like but his analysis do seem to be on because he backed Fundora. He said Fundora would beat Jerome Business, and he's not too far off the mark with that because that boy right there, right now, he is fighting on a different level. He is definitely fighting on a different level. Fundora, Sebastian Fundora, he done figured out that how to use his jab and range and different ways to distract you with the jab to run you into the left. Right, I saw that with Keith Thurman, and it was kind of scary, man. It was kind of scary because the kid done learned. He done learned a lot. He was green before when he got Falumaloon by Mendoza, and Mendoza really Falumaloon. You know, um, really, really, really got to him. And I said, damn, man, Fondora's going to be hard to beat. I don't know if Jerron Boots Ennis, you know what I'm saying, can get past that long arm because now this kid, he's got a lot more experience. And Jerron, depending on how he looked against Xander Zayas, you know what I'm saying, it's like I could tell you more after that fight. But Xander seemed like he's very confident. He seemed like he knows something that nobody else knows, and you know, I love his energy. I love his mindset. I love how he's going into the fight. You know what I'm saying? With, you know what I'm saying? Like he just really, really, believe in himself. You know what I'm saying? And he got two belts, so he should. So, you know, what's going on? What's going on, Jason? You know what I'm saying? Let's see what Xander said. Xander said some shit. He was like, um, he was trolling and shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what it. Let's see, Xander Zayas. He's a really a character. Let me see. Let me see. I want to pull up some. Let me see. Xander Zayas. Hold on for a second. Nah, fight height. Okay, he breaking down the mistakes and cut that off. Like he say, Boots make a lot of mistakes, and trying to find the spot where he said he's gonna. He said he would run through Devin Haney, um, which what I'm saying, I don't know. Devin never campaigned up at 154. I think that'd be a good fight for Dev. You know what I'm saying, but I don't know if Dev can withstand that kind of power. Yes, sir, no doubt. Let me see. Hold on. So I just wanted to show you this little part, this part where Xander's talking about the fight. You know what I'm saying? I like how he's opening up, man. He is like really, he's really, letting people know, you know what I'm saying, that he ain't no fake ass dude, that he's really trying to come in here and win this thing. He's a champion, so it should be that way. But y'all know what I mean. The championship's been so sorry lately. So let's see. This is Xander. Can y'all see that? Let me see. Yeah, yeah, y'all can see that. So, all right, these are some good interviews, man. This is for educational purposes.
I mean, I'm the guy in the division. I'm the
Mm,
only one that has two belts.
yeah.
So I don't. I mean, people can perceive him and people can see him as however they want to see him. At the end of the day, we got to step in that ring and see who's the best, who's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not scared of nobody. He's a man just like I am. He breathes just like I breathe. The only man that I'm scared of is above me.
Mm.
Everybody else, they're gonna have to get the smoke.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I like that energy. I said this and I said, I wanted to give you a lot of credit for stepping up because you didn't have to take
Yeah.
this fight, right? I think just as media, we're like, people like to take steps, champions,
sure.
right? You went, Barral was the last fight, you know what I mean? You could have fought somebody else, but you ran to this smoke. Do you feel like you deserve credit for that? Like,
No, I feel like credit. People can perceive credit and give credit whenever they want. I don't look for people approval. I look for my approval, and I feel like this is the fight I wanted. This is the fight I was looking for. I want to be great. I want to keep bringing great fights to boxing, and this is the way to do it. It was easy to go back as a champion and say I just want an option and fight anybody in the top 15
Yeah.
that I could beat in 2 rounds, right? But why do that when I could challenge myself and see who's the best guy at 54? Again, it's never about
Man, let me tell y'all something. I love this kid, man. I love this kid, man. I love his mentality. I love what he's talking about, bro. It's none of this knick-knack, paddywhack stuff, like he
being
said.
famous. It's never about recognition.
I just love the way he's talking, man. It's like he's about that action, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like he's trying to avoid anybody. He went straight at the number one pick. You know what I'm saying? He went at the number one pick, Jaron Ennis, who's the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous, because we got to think about Fundora. We can't disrespect Fundora like that. But he's the number one. He's the number one dangerous dude. Well, one of the most dangerous dudes. And he went for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he got two belts on the line. A lot of people would not risk, their unification to fight a guy that this talented. So boxing is getting back, to where it should be. You know what I'm saying? This is what we should be looking at. You know what I'm saying? This is, even though I think Boost is going to destroy him, but if he's getting extra help from Crawford or somebody with that kind of insight to help him out, you know what I'm saying? I do think Xander is going to be competitive. He says Boots got a real match in front of him this time. Yeah, I think so too, Alan. I don't think Boots can go in there thinking that he's just going to run through Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? Even though We know his abilities and where he fights at. He fights to the point where he fights technically sound and technically good, but he don't seem to have that next gear where he can break you down and get rid of you. And that's what we're looking for out of Xander right now. It's like, bro, we hear you, man. We hear the pride. We like what we're seeing. We like what we're hearing. But I just don't know. I just don't know, man. If he's gonna have to show us something. Let me see what the hell. Let's see. I don't know. It's like I'm looking for the tab, and it's like the tab done damn disappeared. Hold on. They done so much behind this. Let's see. All right, how do I get back to it? I had to tap off the damn thing. Y'all bear with me. There you go. Okay.
Recognition of people. It's about being the best. And when I retire, when I say, okay, this is done, that's it, no more boxing for me. I did everything the way I did, the way I wanted, how I wanted it, and when I wanted it. So that's what it comes down to.
Nah, for sure. Are you a fighter that watches tape? Like,
Yeah,
do you study him? Because some fighters be telling me, nah, I don't really.
I do watch tapes. My team watch a lot of tape, but I do sit down with them here and there and watch some tape.
Now, one of the fights that people say Boots didn't look like his usual self was the Karen fight, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe both 1 and 2 people, kind of talk about that. Do you feel like, are there things that you look at in that fight that you feel like you picked up?
I mean, not just in that fight. There's a lot of things in other fights that you can pick up from. He's a fighter that looks good when he's comfortable. When he doesn't feel comfortable, when he doesn't feel like he got his rhythm, he got his range, his game plan is going according to what the corner is telling, he gets frustrated really easy. And that's what happened with the Karen fight. Karen.
Didn't I tell you? I didn't even see this interview. So didn't I tell you that's what he was talking about? I told you that's what he was talking about, bro. You know what I'm saying? The frustration that, because he's trying to Boost be trying to put on a show. And that's his problem. Instead of letting his abilities come to him and getting his range naturally, he goes out there and try to force it. And that's something he's going to have to work on and let the fight come to him, because the technical boxers, that's what they feed on, your frustrations. They feed on you, losing your cool. And that's just experience, though. But Boost got 30-something fights. So come on now. He's saying he's going to have to tighten up off that,
I don't think Karen was a better fighter than he is, but Karen was just doing the best game plan that he could,
right,
and was getting him out of the strategy and was getting into his head. So I feel like he's a very emotional fighter.
Damn, he just called Jaron Boost Ennis a goddamn emotional fighter. You know what I'm saying? In everybody emotional when you get punched in the damn face. You know what I'm saying? You see fighters always try to get their get back after they get, a good shot, somebody get in a good shot, you know what I'm saying? He says what'd you say, Gabe? He says Xander has a great game plan, but he won't be able to execute his game plan. Okay.
Once you get in his corner's head and the corner doesn't have any answers, then he won't get any answers and he won't find any answers. He relies on 10 people telling him what to do. And when those 10 people can't give him an answer, then it's an issue. So, yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, my God. Did y'all just hear that? Xander said this nigga, they said, talking about Jaron Boost Ennis, depends on what 10 people say. Oh, I love it. I love it. Talk your stuff, my brother.
A lot of fights that you could pick up a lot of things from.
I like that you said that, like, if you get in his team's head, Xander, I feel like you kind of a troll a little bit. And I like it, though. I like it. Like, I feel like, you said to Bozy, you were like, you 0-2, you about to be 0-3. I feel like you've kind of embraced this, like, troll role a little bit.
It's funny, though. It's funny sometimes. Like, I feel like my comebacks are, like, facts. Like, I'm not, like, my trolls, I'm not trolling just to troll. Like, I'm trolling with facts.
Right.
Like, the Virgil troll. Like, that's facts.
Well, you said he was a prospect.
He was a prospect. Let's be honest. You've been
prospect.
You've been in the game for what, 9 years? Almost 10 in July, actually. July?
Yeah.
Becomes 10 years as a pro. He's never fought for a world title. He's never, like,
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you troll Virgil. Like, do you like trolling him? Because it seems like he don't like it. He be on you. Like,
that's why I like it. That's why I like it, because I just know he gets upset. So it's funny. Like, but I don't care. I just go about my day. I don't know these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I've never spent any time with any of these guys outside of boxing. I've never met them. I've never seen them in person. But today will be my first time seeing Boots Ennis. I've never seen him in person. So trolling is just funny, but I troll with facts. So it's not a troll.
Yeah, I got you.
It's just
But
facts.
you feel like is the mental part of this a part of it for you?
For sure. The mental part is the most important part. I feel like boxing is 10% physical, 90% mental. Everybody's strong at this point. Everybody has talent at this point. Everybody knows what they're doing at this point. That's where we're professionals. Yeah. Now the mental part is the one that plays a big factor. Going into fights, going into big fights, going into whatever fight you're going into. When you prepare mentally to go to war, you don't care if he's, he could be ready for battle. He'll never just be at your level, and that's it.
Yeah.
God damn, Xander said, when you get ready for war, God damn it, he's preparing mentally for this battle, bro. Let me tell you something. It's more to Xander. I mean, even if he can't pull it off, you know what I'm saying? And I just like his mental, I just like his attitude going into this fight. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a really, really great signature fight. It's a legacy fight for Jaron Ennis. Grabbing 2 belts. The WBA, WBO, man. That this not only is Jaron Ennis, says a great fight. It's going to position him to be, the man in the division. You grab 2 belts. Now the pressure is going to be put on Virgil Ortiz, right? What can Virgil Ortiz say? The man got 2 belts. You got to come my way. Now this just assuming that Jaron Ennis was to beat Xander Zayas. That's the only thing. He's got to get by this guy, because I hope he's not underestimating what Xander can do in the ring, because he is a 154 pounder. And Boots, he's a tough dude. He can evade shots, but he does get hit. We don't know how he's going to react. To Xander's punches. We really got to see that. He might get surprised. I don't know what game plan. Xander don't fight on the inside. Boots does it all. So it's just a contrast in their styles and the way they look at it. So, it's going to be interesting.
I got to ask this question. This was a narrative that was going around. People were saying because Top Rank announced their deal recently with DAZN, right? Partnership with DAZN. So some people were saying, well, because they did this deal with DAZN, they we forcing Xander to take this fight because it's a DAZN thing now too.
I wanted to fight. Top Rank didn't want to fight. Like, Top Rank said we could look for optionals. They were looking for options. They were looking for other names. And I'm like, no, forget the other names. If it's not Josh Kelly for the 3rd bout, I want Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz.
So they told you, yo, we could go another direction?
Yeah, they actually sent me a couple names. Yeah. I have a list of names that they sent for me to fight. And I'm like, no, I want Boots Ennis. Or I want Josh Kelly or...
God damn it. They sent him other names. They sent him other names. They had other options. He could have went the other way. He said, no. Man, I love it, bro. I love it. He said, no, I want Boots. That means a lot, y'all. That y'all know that means a lot. Because he's not just trying to rack up money. He could have fought anybody else. But he told them he wants to run. I have a lot of respect for this dude, man. You know what I'm saying? I always loved his fighting style and everything, but I really, really pushing him up there, you know what I'm saying, as far as the respect factor, as far as him being, you know what I'm saying, having that warrior mentality, bro. I didn't know this about Xander.
Or Virgil Ortiz. He was one of those 3 names for me.
Did they discourage you from that when you told them that? Are they like,
no,
hey, Xander, hold up, wait a minute.
Actually, we had a meeting and they're like, if that's what you want to do, we'll go chase it. And they went chase it. They went and got it. Yeah. So it wasn't because they got into this new deal. Yeah. It just happened that it all worked out at the same time. You gotta
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I always thought that Xander was the weakest champion, right? I always thought he was the weakest link, and I thought if anybody was gonna fight somebody with a belt, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to go the way of Fundora. without, a couple of tune-ups. You know what I'm saying? I really thought that he was the weakest, but now I'm thinking different. I'm thinking different now. I don't think he's as tough as Fundora because Fundora is sort of a phenomenon, right? You know what I'm saying? Because he got that freakish 6'5.5" height. He got the 80-inch wingspan. So that's more of a puzzle that all these guys at 154 is going to have to figure out at one point in time. And he's fearless, right? Fundora is fearless. He don't look the same. He look different. He says finally we're starting to get we're starting to get themselves much respect to that. He said, however, let's go Ennis. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying, man. Oh wait, what the hell happened? What did I do? Okay, there we go. Okay. It's like I'm getting an old man, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't, let's see, stop sharing. Let's see, share screen, Xander. There we go. Yeah, I got to get back on here and start practicing.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because at the end, I didn't know where my next fight was going to be televised.
Right.
Like I was just thinking, I just want a big fight, wherever it is. If I have to go to Matchroom, PBC, wherever I have to go, I just want a big fight with a big name.
Yeah.
And so it just happened that, Top Rank time with the Zone.
Okay. Your last fight was Barao in Puerto Rico, and I wasn't there, but it looked crazy. Everybody was saying, I heard it was like 13,000 people there. Like I heard it was that's a big deal, man.
No, that's a big deal. And it was amazing just going back to the island, going back to my people, seeing the
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's
Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah, but there's also like right now there's like 5 champions in total in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
5 or 4. He was excited. He was pumped that day. He was
Josh Kelly. There was a point where y'all two went back and forth, you and Josh Kelly, where he was saying like, yo, we sent you a contract, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, well, we sent you a contract. What happened with the Josh Kelly thing?
Well, it's simple. The guy didn't want to fight outside the UK, but then we had a talk with Matchroom, and they said the economics for what he's asking for and what I'm asking for just doesn't make sense in the UK, even selling 45,000 people, which again, he don't know if it was going to sell 45,000. He's never sold it before. How do you know I could sell 45? I know I could sell at 7.
So like I said, it's a lot of business, it's a lot of business behind this shit, man. It's like, we be thinking that these guys be afraid and all this kind of thing, but there'll be a lot of business that's going on, you know what I'm saying, to make these decisions. And I know it sucked for us because we don't care about no damn business. Yes, sir. He says, he says, you are the best champ. Yes, my boy. That was a sloppy ass fight, you got to admit. But my boy, you know what I'm saying, he always fights his heart out. But yeah, the business, like, we just had Devin Haney and Rowley fight, you know what I'm saying, fall through. And that kind of sucked, you know what I'm saying, because once they announce the fight, you know what I'm saying, and you thinking that the fight is on, they're still negotiating behind the scenes, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like anytime a fighter be talking about they want the contract signed, that means everything that they seen in the contract they like, right? But the other side still got to look at that contract and look at and you don't know what's in the details of these contracts, right? It's always some stipulation in there where you're going to get less money, or you know what I'm saying, it's going to be something that you don't like, you know what I'm saying, whether it's the size of the gloves or whether it's the, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, the other side got to look at that contract and be like, okay, you know what I'm saying, this is cool, I can like really work with this. And we never know those details. I think for future reference, I think they should show the contract details, because once the fight is off, we be blaming and say, oh, he ducking. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if he ducking or not. You know what I'm saying? Because the details in those contracts, we don't know. Boxing is so dirty. You know what I'm saying? They could be asking for 65%, 60-10, and telling people it's 50-50. We know boxing is that dirty, right? You know what I'm saying? It's, or they have it in their structured some kind of way where they coming out with most of the money, and we just don't know what the contracts are looking like. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I know if Devin fighting Rolly, Devin is the star, right? He is the star, right? He was undisputed, you know what I'm saying, all that shit. He fought Brian Norman, you know what I'm saying, he fought his way back into contention, you know what I'm saying? The dude, his name is bigger than Rolly. Rolly just became a champion. You know what I'm saying? So, we really Rolly just gotten better recently, you know what I'm saying? Because he was always considered trash, you know what I'm saying, as far as a fighter goes. He was always considered trash. So, you never know what's in the details. Like right now, the fight between Jaron Ennis is going, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but something could come up, you know what I'm saying? It could come up. I'm pretty sure on Jaron Ennis' side, nothing's going to come up because this is the best opportunity he's going to get at 154 right now because has nobody else has two belts, right? Nobody else has two belts. He said Xander overrated, bro. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he's overrated. I think Xander's a wonderful, wonderful champion. I just think right now boxing don't have the they don't have like the Bernard Hopkins, and they don't have the Roy Jones Jr. names. They don't have these guys got to build themselves up over time, and I think that's the problem is that we got new faces, even though they've been boxing for a while. They just haven't had the opponents to like really put them on the map and to be memorized, right? So by the time they are to contention to get a belt, it's like, who have you beaten? Even though they've been fighting for years, right? It's like, but we don't recognize these dudes that they beat as really tough contenders. So we don't look at them like we looked at Roy when he beat Lights Out Tony, or when he beat Bernard Hopkins, right? We already know who those guys are, right? Because we know they're tough guys. But when you beat a Jorge Perez, and you beat a Bass Barrero, you know what I'm saying? You just kind of like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Even though that was a hell of a fight, what's his name? Bass Barrero, and he fought, what was that guy? Eunice something he beat to get the title. You know what I'm saying? But when he fought, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we don't know who these dudes are. Their name don't resonate as they move up in the rankings, right? They don't really resonate because they really didn't give a good show of themselves, right? And they wasn't memorized or anything like, they wasn't immoral, I don't know how you say it. um, they really didn't stand out. So boxing fans be like, "Oh man, that dude can fight his ass off, man." You know what I'm saying? And it's like, shit, he had a belt. Albus Barrero had a belt. Jorge Perez had a belt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you had two champions, two guys. Well, I think they fought for a vacant title. I think it was, but they were fighting for belts, and we didn't know who the hell they was, right? You know what I'm saying? At 147, you had Jaron Boots Ennis. We knew everybody around them because they had been fighting a while, even though they still wasn't great established names. You had Stanionis, you know what I'm saying? Um, um, who I forgot who the other ones Boots for. Oh, Ramos, not Ramos, shit, Roma. You know what I'm saying? That was a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though we still didn't know Roma like that. So we're not knowing these guys' names, but even though they contenders for the belt, we don't know them like that. You know what I'm saying? And we're not getting the coverage to know these guys' journeys and everything, and their way to the top. They just kind of appear out of nowhere. And so the champion, once he become the champion, he don't get the recognition or, for being tough or for being, like he's gonna have a long reign. So what we're getting is a bunch of title holders, what I'm saying, getting the belt and they're getting defeated. You know what I'm saying? They're getting defeated. In the next fight, their first defense, they're getting defeated, right? Look at the dude that beat Crawford. What's the white dude? You know what I'm saying? They made him the WBO champion. Then Crawford picked him, and you say he knew he could pick him off, man, because he don't have the experience. So, but we got guys who are getting belts who don't deserve the belts. You know what I'm saying? They don't deserve the belts, bro. It's like you haven't really went through nothing to earn the belt. So in your next title defense, guess what? The belt changes hands, right? So people be like, but I do not think that Xander Zayas is overrated. I think he's one of them ones that if he keeps developing, he's going to be a problem. If he keeps developing and get his confidence, but right now, I think this kind of fight, even if he loses to Jaron Boots Ennis, I think it's going to make him a better fighter. And the next time whoever fights Xander Zayas, if he loses to Boots, it's going to be a problem because he needs to go through a tough fight. He needs to go through tough fighters, special fighters. And just because you lose one time don't mean you're not coming back, right? And he's only 23 years old. He's only 23 years old. So if he loses to Boots, it's good experience. That's great experience because he done fought a top guy, a guy that can make the adjustments, and now he knows how to fight a great athletic dude. So without that experience, what I'm saying, he's not gonna be a top guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be a top dude unless he goes in there and get beat or beat Jaron Boots Ennis. So that's why this thing is starting to heat up, and I'm happy for it because he is fighting Jaron Boots Ennis at such a young age. For right now, Jaron Boots Ennis, he has to perform. He is too old. He is too old in the game, and not to be getting his accolades in, not to be, conquering this division and not getting the top fights. So after Boots get these two belts, you better believe that the whole boxing world is going to put the pressure. He's going to have the whole weight of the 154 division on his shoulders. So it's not only it's more of a curse for Jaron Boots Ennis because if he gets those belts, he can't fight. He got to fight Fundora, and then who knows what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as he beats Xander, shit, he done opened the door to a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Because Fundora is sitting there waiting. He's just waiting on Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, do I think Jaron Boots Ennis? You know what I'm saying? Is he overrated? That's what we should be asking. You know what I'm saying? He still haven't, if he beats Xander, I'm saying he still haven't beat any other of the other 154 pounders that are good, right? You know what I'm saying? So, he can't fight nobody lower than Xander, right? He's gonna have to fight like a Fundora. You know what I'm saying? Because the pressure is going to be put on him to take over the division after if he beats Xander Zayas, right? You know what I'm saying? So, he's going to take on that mantle as the black superstar, and they're going to be looking for him to be another Crawford, even though we don't know yet. We just don't know. Do I believe Jaron Boots Ennis got that kind of swag? Does he have that kind of up potential? Yeah, I think he got it, but he still got to prove it. You know what I'm saying? We can't give it to him before he proves it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing where people think you hating on Boots. I'm not. He's probably one of my favorite fighters, right now, but he still have to prove it, right? And it's nothing but talent right now at 154. And the way the way Virgil Ortiz is acting right now, the way he's acting right now, I don't know if he could beat Jaron Boots Ennis. It just seems like, he says that it's the business. He says that it's this, that. He says he keep going back to he offered Boots to fight. Fuck that, bro. That don't got nothing to do. That has nothing to do with what they're trying to make the fight today. Oh, why didn't he? You know what I'm saying? And then I didn't like the fact that Boots kept talking about if you believe in yourself, why didn't you sign the 55-45 club? Bro, would you, man, that's one thing I hate about this new generation. It's like they come up with all these strawman arguments and they're always trying to worry about the perception of shit. The man is the champion. The man is a unified champion. Shut up. Shut up and fight. Just shut up and you get the belts and you become the man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Shut up all this fake ass, this fake stuff, you know what I'm saying, that you're doing for the media. You know what I'm saying? And nobody, that doesn't even make sense. You don't offer nothing except an ass whipping. If you just come in there and this man is risking two titles for you. You know what I'm saying? Because he respects Boots because he says he thinks that Boots is the one of the best at 154. That should be enough. Now I know you got to sell the fight, but find some more talking points. You know what I'm saying? Find some more talking points, man. You know what I'm saying? Just tell him, hey man, I like the fact that he said he had a big head. You can't miss his head. I thought that was cool. That was right up in there. You know what I'm saying? So and I like how Xander came back. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this back and forth is pretty good, but he need to cut the whole 55-45 if you believe in yourself. That shit ain't going nowhere. because you are the guy, you are the challenger. You the challenger. You know what I'm saying? Just talk about beating his ass on fight night. I love that because but Boots never really pops off like this. So I know he's hyped for the fight. I know he's motivated for the fight. But say I want somebody to help him work on this. He needs like somebody to help him work on his trash talk. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm starting to worry because Xander looked like he's way more calm than Jaron Boots Ennis. But I know even most people get nervous before a fight. um, I don't know why people think that, when you're nervous, that means that you're scared. No, it just means your adrenaline is going. And sometimes that adrenaline is the things that put you over the top. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he just seems like he's a little uncomfortable. Maybe because he's out of his element because he's trash talking. And Boots don't really trash talk like that. So maybe that's what it is. Xander just seems like he's relaxed. He's 23, so he's used to talking shit on the net. He's used to talking shit, you know what I'm saying? And these kids, they used to being disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? Whereas the older people, you know what I'm saying, we're used to having more decorum and stuff, and you don't really step out of your character, you know what I'm saying? When you do, people can see that that's not how you really roll, right? You know what I'm saying? You really don't roll like some people can just, talk shit and it be on point. But a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they have to stick with their true personalities, right? And I think Boost is one of them guys that's not good at trash talking. It comes off a little corny. But Xander is a natural, you know what I'm saying? He's a natural. He's them 23 years old, they could talk shit, man. I mean, I don't know if you ever, crossed like, one of these little young people. They learned how to be disrespectful for years off the net, arguing with people and stuff where, Boots is, he's what, 28? You know what I'm saying? Not a whole lot older than Xander, but he's able to touch where people had more manners and people cared about, your perception and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying, I don't think Xander gives a damn about what people think about him. So that's just coming from, what I'm saying, being at that 23-year-old stage. So I think that the media is a little bit more easier for him to just be more of himself and troll and come with the facts because they did that shit all their life going back and forth with people where like people my age, what I'm saying, you don't do a lot of trash talking because it was just looked at as you just trying to be a big mouth and you're really scared and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying, I think Xander kind of got the advantage, what I'm saying, of that because Boots is coming from like a hierarchy of an older generation and stuff. So, he's probably going to be able to out talk Boots, what I'm saying? And Boots just seems like he's just a little bit off with his trash talk. So, but that's not going to help him. That's not going to help him when them damn hooks come from the side to the body. Boots got some really weird angles that he throw. I don't know how much is that going to help him because when he hit that other guy was kind of, he was kind of a bum, what I'm saying? But he hit him with some weird uppercut up jabs and stuff. And I think he just threw one and that would ended the fight. Um, but say I don't think he can get that off against Xander. I think Xander, is a seasoned veteran type of fighter. That way he's had enough looks in the ring where he's not going to get rattled. And if he's getting that extra help from Crawford, oh my God, this might be really interesting. Because one thing I don't like about Crawford is he like to surprise people, what I'm saying, and he likes to come at people when they disadvantaged and stuff, right? So, but I think with if he can help Xander, what I'm saying, get a better game plan, I think it's going to be an interesting fight if it's true, if he's helping them behind the scenes. Right now, Crawford is retired. So I could see him skipping over there and trying to help Xander beat Jaron Boots Ennis and him having a beef with Jaron Boots Ennis and having argued with Jaron Boots Ennis. I think Crawford would get a lot of he would get a lot of joy out of helping Xander beat Jaron Boots Ennis and stopping his rise to fame and stuff. And I could see Crawford enjoying that shit. You know what I'm saying? He says the whole UK will rooting for Prograis tonight, but Regis injured rumors look true. He says Ben has no chance. Ben has no chance against uh, the elite at any weight. He said tickets still available at $20. Well, even when you first heard about the fight with Conor Benn, he's not a draw. You know what I'm saying? Regis is not a draw unless they fighting elite fighters. So it was just something to see where Conor Benn really where he really ranks. If he can fight a veteran fighter, he's supposed to have got rid of. I thought he was gonna um knock out Regis in the first or second round. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I thought, it was a one-sided beatdown, even though Regis, what I'm saying, he tried his best. But for Conor Benn to not be able to take out, what I'm saying, injured fighter, damn near, on his last leg, because you could see Regis' legs were just wobbly. What I'm saying? He just was not, his legs are not fresh and not there, right? He couldn't even knock Regis down, bro. Couldn't even knock him down. You know what I'm saying? So we already know what's going to happen if he fights some of these dudes that can really move, right? And it's gonna be interesting to see if he get that Ryan Garcia fight. 'Cause I think that's an easy win for Ryan Garcia. But if he can get Conor Benn up under his belt, that's going to be more cachet for Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Moving into the Devin fight. You know what I'm saying? Because really, that's gonna be the fight that really cement Ryan's legacy if he could beat Devin again. And if he can beat Devin in a very convincing fashion and separate himself, right? It's going to be that's Ryan is really going to become a star in this league, because Devin is the dude to beat right now. You know what I'm saying? He really is the dude. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but Dev is the guy to beat, man. I mean, what I'm saying? So I hope that one of them get the fight, and I think whoever gets that Conor Benn fight is going to really help them out. You know what I'm saying? As far as keeping them active, and far as their confidence too. You know what I'm saying? Because the more you win, the more confidence you're going to get, and to beat somebody with a big mouth like Conor Benn, it's just it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, right? And you know, I just think that that's a fight that can happen by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? We can get that Dev Ryan fight by the end of the year. But I don't know if either one of them want to risk getting injured. That's another thing we have to look out. These fighters get injured. You know what I'm saying? Whoever fight Conor Benn, you know what I'm saying, you could get injured. You know what I'm saying? That might put off the fight till 2027, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I know Devin gonna want that. I know he's gonna go after Ryan, right? And but if he gets injured, or if Dev get injured against Conor Benn, that's gonna hold that fight back for a long, long time, right? So it's just one of them things where they're gonna have to play it smart. You know what I'm saying? If they want that fight to happen, right? And that's really the fight that we all want to see. You know what I'm saying? We really, I don't know why we bullshitting. That really should be the next fight for both of them. I don't want to see Devin fight Conor Benn. I want to see Ryan fight Conor Benn, really. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them fight each other. You know what I'm saying? I want to see somebody fight. I want to see Ryan fight Rolly again and see, because he looked bad against Rolly that first time he fought him. But I want to see if he could beat this Ryan. I want to see Rolly fight Devin. Um, they can always renegotiate, right? I know it seemed like his people think just because no negotiations failed once that they can't renegotiate. Get back in there and just come to some terms. You know what I'm saying? Come to some terms. I think Devin need that Rolly Romero fight. And do I think Rolly can hurt Dev? Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? He hurt Tank. You know what I'm saying? If he can hurt Tank, he can hurt Dev. You know what I'm saying? It's just Tank got a chin, man. Tank has got a hard chin, and he just got some hellacious traps that he set up for these guys, and they fall for it every time. Lamar Roach didn't fall for it, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I can't wait for Tank to come back to the league too. You know what I'm saying? Even though, he kind of took us up through there with all these fiascos, and him with the court cases, and not knowing really which direction he was going to go. Was he going to go back to boxing, or was he going to go to jail? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't understand why he's getting into so much personal, uh, trouble. But I want him to get back to the ring without the distractions. And to me, Lamont Roach was, when he fought that night, he was clearly distracted by something, or could we have been looking at the real Tank Davis? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But these guys don't fight enough for you to like really figure the shit out. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be fighting Pitbull. Um, I don't mind that fight because the first one was so good. And if it helps Tank to get back, get his get reacquainted with boxing, I think that's a good fight for him. I think Pitbull is gonna give him the rounds that he needs. So I'm not mad at that fight, even though I would prefer him to be the fight Lamont Roach, and hopefully Lamont Roach don't get beat before he fight Tank. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to see that fight again. Um, I don't know why Tank ain't demanding that fight, because if that was me, I would be demanding that fight. You know what I'm saying? So, but these British people, man, they really support their own. Um, even if the commentary is egregious, you know what I'm saying? America, we got to get back to supporting our fighters. You know what I'm saying? And pushing them to go into the best fights. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? We don't stand by our fighters. But yeah, I kind of missed it, and I had to go back and watch it on Netflix. And but he said that one thing Regis said was that Dev can beat Conor Benn, but I don't think that really surprises anybody. You know what I'm saying? Conor Benn, he talks a lot of shit, but you know what I'm saying, his skill level just ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Just ain't there. So but nobody's like really one fighter nobody's really talking about here is Shakur Stevenson, and I don't know why, because he's one of the top guys right now. So it's like, why nobody's putting pressure on Shakur Stevenson to fight Devin Haney? Well, I know he's talking about the weight clauses and all that stuff, but that shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be. These guys known each other their entire lives. So I just don't understand. Is he gonna go back? Is Shakur Stevenson gonna go back to 135, or is he really gonna stay and fight anybody from 135 to 137? Right? Um, there's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then not, and especially, he don't have to really worry about the 140 division, because everybody seemed to be trying to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Cherry pick and wait for, they can fight somebody they can beat, right? Somebody who's not dangerous and stuff like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I can only see a couple of fights for Shakur. You know, everybody's kind of like really avoiding each other. So Devin wants him. Um, it's up to Tank. I don't see how Shakur could fight Tank if Tank ain't gonna come up to 140, right? That's the only way I can see that fight happening. If Shakur comes up to 140, but Tank don't seem like he's really interested in fighting Shakur Stevenson. So especially at another weight class, you know what I'm saying? Because that takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot, to go up to another weight class, against a guy who's defensively sound as Shakur Stevenson. Tank gonna have to get used to carrying around 140. And I'm pretty sure, what I'm saying, he's not afraid, but he just knows what kind of fighter Shakur Stevenson is. And he's gonna have to really be prepared, if you're gonna beat Shakur Stevenson. So, what I'm saying? But that's, pretty much, I'm glad I came back and talked about this fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it feels good to be back. I did with a couple of live streams. I did one yesterday and one today. You know what I'm saying? Who do y'all want to see fight? You know what I'm saying? Let me ask the chat. You know what I'm saying? Anybody want to come up? You know what I'm saying? And anybody want to come up and talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Who do you want to see fight? We talked about EJ comeback yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But who do you want to see? I want to see Abdullah Mason fight again. Um, that's like that dude there is so exciting. I want to see him fight again. I want to see Oshaki Foster. I want to see the Oshaki Foster fight. I think that boy right there is yeah, that boy is something else. Oshaki Foster. Did he go back down to 130? Did Oshaki Foster go back down to 130? Let's see, Oshaki. But Abdullah Mason, I don't even know who he's gonna fight. Let me see, Abdullah Mason. Let me see. Who is Abdullah Mason fighting next? Abdullah Mason said next fight. Let me see who he fight. Next fight. Let me see. So he's only 22 years old. Oh, Joe Cardina. Joe Cardina, you know what I'm saying? So he'll win that fight. But Joe Cardina ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Abdullah Mason, if he's fighting Joe Cardina, that's a good fight. That's a good experience because, if Shakur come back down, I don't know if he could beat Matilla. I don't know if he has the experience to beat Matilla right now, but you know what I'm saying? If you get that Joe Cardina fight in, it might could get him ready. Might could get him ready. You know what I'm saying? But that's the fighter that I want to see next. You know what I'm saying? Abdullah Mason, man. I think he's exciting. You know what I'm saying? He don't have like supreme defense or nothing like that, but the kid's coming along, man. He got a lot of heart. He's not afraid to get into the pocket and throw them bombs, man. You saw him in the Sam Noakes fight. That shit was that was an excellent fight. I think we was on live for that one. So, yeah, Abdullah Mason is that next up type of guy. You know what I'm saying? All he has to do is keep on getting the experience. But can he beat Shakur if he comes back down to 135? I don't think so. I don't think he got the experience to beat Shakur right now. And even Shakur himself said it. Shakur said that himself. He said, he's a young guy, and I don't think he was trying to, son him or nothing like that. I just think he really believes that he's just too young to be taking on the top guy to fight him himself. You know what I'm saying? Should fight O'Shaquie Foster. Let me see. O'Shaquie Foster. O'Shaquie. I'm trying to see what his next fight is. Let's see. Who is he fighting? Let's see. So Shaggy Foster, Raymond Ford. I don't know why I can never remember Raymond Ford, and he's supposed to be fighting Raymond Ford on May 30th. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a good fight, man. Raymond Ford can fight. He don't have power. You know what I'm saying? O'Shaquie don't have that much power either, but they do have good boxing ability. So, O'Shaquie Foster, that's going to be a good one, and Abdullah Mason. You know what I'm saying? And Joe Cardine, that's gonna be the next good ones that's gonna come up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Abdullah Mason. So that's gonna be Cleveland, Ohio. I'm trying to look for the date. July 4th. So July 4th, you know what I'm saying? Abdullah Mason and Joe Cardine is gonna be getting it. You know, they're gonna be fights. So that's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? So who do you guys really want to see? Yeah, I'm talking to the chat. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me see. Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up then. You know, I thought, this fight really didn't move boxing forward. Of course, kind of being is kind of being, it's kind of being. So, I thought that, like I said, he was always going to beat Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is on his way out. So it really didn't do nothing for his stock. It didn't do nothing for kind of being stock. He just kind of picked on a guy that, what I'm saying, was near retirement. He got some rounds in to stay active. But if he's thinking about knocking on the door of Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia, he might as well forget it. He can call them out all he wants to. Them guys got bigger fish to fry. So nobody really wants to sell in their hands on Conor Benn. And then you got to think about it. If they fight over there in the Britain side, on the British side, then there's a chance that you could get cheated in a close decision, or any. I don't think the decision would be close, but what I'm saying, it's like the way the British people operate. What I'm saying, you just have to really watch their network. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, 2 cents? You know, yeah. This is said this they embarrass Netflix. What? Netflix paid for the deal. I mean, they paid for it, so you know, I don't know who they're consulting, but not consulting the best people, right? Um, I don't know who the hell they consulting. Anybody could have told them that this fight wasn't shit, right? But it was good to see Regis, you know what I'm saying, like really wrap up his career. It was good to see that he's happy about it. You know, I didn't know, I thought it was like really interesting that he was afraid and he wanted to pull out. Um, you know, I didn't really think, you know, a lot of people say boxers don't get afraid, but shit, Regis said here right up to the end that he really didn't want to fight. So, you know, and I'm sure that had to do a lot to do with the injuries that he was feeling. Um, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, 15 million is what that was a good night's work. If he really got that, right? If he really got that much, right? You know, they just paying anybody anything these days, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just about to wrap it up 2 cents, you know what I'm saying? Unless you want to come on and say something. Did you want to come on and say something? You know what I'm saying? I'm about to wrap it up, because we talked about it. And see, oh, I did an hour and 25 minutes, Yep, that's it. Yep. So that covers this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Um, let me see. Probably that Abdullah Mason fight coming up. You know what I'm saying? We'll look at that. I didn't even touch that damn Tyson Fury fight. I ain't even want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, too. See you. All right. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.